Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with German jazz musician and composer Jakob Manz. We talked to him from his home base in Germany during the early throes of the COVID-19 lockdown on May 8th, 2020, to talk about how he's been doing and his life in music. He started out quite young, and he got some sage advice, and has truly hit the jazz ground running. He's making a big name for himself, and he has some solid plans for the future when live music returns. Get to know him and enjoy his story. At any rate, thanks again for taking a minute out today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, me too. How did you found me exactly?
I believe I found you on iTunes. I'm pretty good about going through and looking up new artists, and I think I found you on there, and I was very interested in what you were doing, and
Okay.
I know Natural Energy is your latest CD, and I was going to start off with asking you, it has to be kind of bittersweet to like have a CD come out now, but not being able to do anything live with it.
Yes, it's on the one hand it's really sad because we have we would play a tour in June, up to 15 concerts in June, 2 week tour, and now it's all cancelled. And yeah, of course it's really sad, but we have I don't know if you recognized it, but we are on the label Act now. They are doing really great. How do you say it? Like many interviews in German radios and stuff like that. So we are very presented on the media with our CD right now. But yes, the live concerts, it's sad. It's really sad.
Well, what are you doing during this time to keep yourself creative and kind of keep your spirits up?
I'm listening to music, and I'm composing new music also, and of course I have a lot of time to practice, but I think it's also really hard to be creative because now it's, I think, 6 weeks. The shutdown now in Germany is like for 6 weeks, and on the beginning, I thought, yeah, now I have really much time to do to practice a lot. But now, to be creative now, it's very difficult.
Well, let's get back to the beginnings of your life. Talk to me a little bit about your childhood, where you were born and raised, and kind of how you got into jazz.
Okay, yeah. I'm born in a small village in Germany, near Stuttgart, but I think nobody knows it. But in southern Germany, and I began to play drums when I was 5. Yes, when I was 5, and then with 8 years I started to play recorder, and my teacher bring me a CD with a band called Wildes Holz. It's a German band with bass and recorder and guitar, and I just played along with only by ear. So I just played by ear, and my recorder teacher said to me, you have to go to a saxophone teacher I know, and then I went to this teacher, and with 11 years I began to play saxophone. And yes, so in jazz I found with a recorder, actually.
Wow. What were some of the early albums or jazz musicians you were listening to?
I think the first jazz record I ever listened was a CD by Bob Minzer and Peter Erskine. Yes, and it was, I think I was 7 years old, and I went to my drummer teacher and said I want to have an album with only drum solo on it, and he gave me this CD with Bob Minzer and Peter Erskine. But yeah, exactly. If the first CD where I really listened to jazz, like also for the other instruments and the harmonics and so on, I think the first CD was from I think Stan Getz and Charlie Parker was the first real jazz CD I ever heard.
How did you really get your start in jazz? How did things kind of start taking off for you?
With my saxophone teacher, the first I learned was to play the blues scale. So, and yeah, I think with 10 years he showed me up like blues scale, and he step by step we were going in through the harmonics of jazz music, and he was a really good teacher for me. He was amazing for my musical way. And in my whole life, or how do you say it? In my whole life, I really play the most by ears. So the first things I learned also on the saxophone, I only played it by ears and without notes, without sheets. But then I think at the age of 12, I also have sheets, and I have done really much like Abersold and Hal Leonard, like play-alongs, but the first steps was only by ear. Yes.
Wonderful. So what do you like best about being a musician?
The best about being a musician? Yeah, it's difficult, but for me, music is. I think I can say music is my life, because other things. Music is really the most important thing in my life right now, and it has been it now for, I think, the last 8 years. It was really the first thing in my life. And I just love to do music, love to bring music to the people, and the feeling is amazing. When I make music, I never had a feeling before like when I'm making music. It's really intense and really.
We're going to get to the end of this pandemic. And I want to know from you, what do you hope we all realize after this is all done and we get back to live music? What do you hope the musician and the crowd realizes when this is all done?
I think after the pandemic, I hope that people are more deep into music and what it means to make music for musicians, and also that the appreciation for music maybe is going to grow, because sometimes people don't really know how much work also is in music, and they are playing it on Spotify or on YouTube, and maybe just a few seconds, and don't realize that how important is music, and also the live music. Maybe sometimes I'm doing live concerts, or I go to live concerts, and the people are standing in front of the door and are looking up the prices, and they say, "Oh, it's so expensive! It's so expensive! Maybe it's only 10 euros." But I know a lot of people, but I have seen a lot of people who are standing in front of or it's too expensive, and I hope that after this pandemic, maybe something changed, that the people are more they realize how important music is also for the people in general.
Yeah, I agree. What kind of show would you bring if you came to Kansas City to play? How would you describe one of your shows?
I think that okay, I'm sure that I would be with my band, of course, with my quartet. We're also on the CD right now because these are my favorite musicians, and I would do it with this band. And I think that our concerts are very emotionally and very we have very much energy in our live concerts, I hope. And that's also the reason why the album is called Natural Energy, because energy is something in our music. For us, it's very important. So you can play very, very, very quiet, and in the next moment you can play very loud and very energetic. And I think that's the special. These are the special moments about our concerts.
Wonderful. Well, hey, Jakob,
Yes.
Thank you for taking some time out for Neon Jazz today. Stay safe. I really appreciate it.
Yes, me too. Thank you.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Germany, America, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Jakob for his time, music, and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.